He rode his bike at age 6, 7 miles home on the highway. What were you people thinking? Their house always was the gathering place for all of his friends, mostly because Luke just loved inviting people over on short notice without asking. One of his favorite sayings was, hey, come on over to my house. And it has remained one of his favorite sayings. Then in 1985, the family moved to Phoenix. He attended Grace Christian Elementary. His dad still did electrical work, and he would go out with his dad on the weekends and spare time. As you saw in the pictures, he played Little League baseball and soccer. He all his life loved volleyball. And then in 1992, he started at Washington High School. He always had a crush on Becky Dotterer. Am I right? Yeah. They would sit in church in the balcony and talk instead of listening to any of the messages. Do you know that he had a bunk bed for the longest time, and the bunk bed above him had wood on it, and he wrote in a felt pen, Luke and Becky. Eventually, Becky broke up with him, so he moved on to her sister Rachel. And they became dear, dear, dear friends through his whole life. The family wanted to emphasize that he never studied in high school. I said, you mean not much? No, never. And he rebelled against some of the things that he learned in the faith early on that didn't make sense to him. But still, he always had a tender heart towards God. On that same bunk bed was written, the family said things like, remember to pray for Steve Mester and Aunt Carol and friends from Tremont. And he kept adding to that list. When Luke was 18, his parents separated. And Luke almost overnight took on the role of protecting his family. It was like innate. Nobody had to tell him. He immediately created a list of approved guys for Marcia. You may date these, and the list had 2 on it. There was a guy one day flirting too aggressively with Marcia, and he pinned him up against the wall at school and said, excuse me, you're not on the list. He let the 2 younger ones tag along with him everywhere he went. He would take David out to movies in junior high just to be with him and to give him a safe place. And they'd get home on school nights at 1 in the morning. And he protected his mother almost instinctively. And now comes maybe the most beautiful part of the story. It begins to unfold Thanksgiving 1992. Luke is at Rachel Dotterer's house. She's talking on the phone to a girl in St. Louis. Rachel knows her from the Apostolic Christian Church summer camps, and Luke sees this girl's picture on Rachel's bulletin board, and on the spot decides to write a letter to tell her all about himself. You guys, I have the letter. They laminated it. It says, Dear Angie, well, you probably have no clue who I am, so I will tell you I am Rachel's friend. My name is Luke James Puckett. I'm 16. I live in Phoenix, of course. And the reason I'm writing you is because I was in Rachel's room looking at her address book, and I came upon your name, and I thought I would do something really weird and write you a letter. I'm enclosing a picture of me. It's kind of cut up because he's got it cut up with the girl. It's a homecoming picture. It's cut up because the girl in the picture was really ugly. Sorry, but that's how it is, he says. about me, more about me. Well, I'm a junior. I used to live in Tremont a long time ago. Well, I play volleyball and I love just hanging out with Rachel and talking about life. Well, I must go. This is the end of my letter. If you ever want to know more of me, ask Rhonda. I've known each other for years. If you ever feel weird, you can write back. So close friend Rhonda is reading this letter with Angie back in St. Louis. Rhonda has grown up with Luke, and she encourages her, why not write back? What the heck? And so she does. And by Christmas, Luke is arriving at the airport in St. Louis with a bunch of other Phoenix kids from the Apostolic Christian Church for a church rally. And suddenly Mr. Cool can't speak. He doesn't say a word to her for the longest time. They eventually get into a van, and he hands something to someone in the van and says, give this to her. It's a Christmas gift. And it is Mickey Mouse earrings, her favorite. But Angie plays hard to get. She visits Phoenix with Rhonda and Angie and Rachel and Amy, the fabulous foursome. And Luke and his friend Alex cook dinner for the girls, and it is, in her memory, absolutely horrible. But she is going to spend the summer in Wisconsin, so she tells him, look, I guess you may call me. And he spends $300 a month on phone bills. One evening, he plays a Vince Gill song over the phone, and she is hooked. Later that summer at church camp in Wisconsin, they carve a heart-shaped Luke and Angie on a tree. They date long distance the whole senior year. And then Angie attends NAU for a year and then to Phoenix to ASU. He attends culinary school. He works at Gainey Ranch, at the Buttes, at Houlihan's, at catering events. So awesome to see a friend from the catering industry here. And they get engaged. He takes her to Southern California to the beach in 1996. And on December 28th, 1996, at the Scottsdale Civic Center, they marry. One fateful morning, Angie is looking through the newspaper, and she stumbles across this ad. It says, not much more than this: personal chef, non-smoker, Montana. And they look at each other and go, whatever, let's give it a try. And so he drives out to Scottsdale, and he is so nervous. He's terrified. He gets there 15 minutes early and drives around. He calls Angie on the phone and says, you will not believe this house. He is going to interview with a man named Fred Runchler. He and his wife Pam have a place up in Montana, and they need a personal chef. At first, as Fred meets him, he almost says no. But they talk for a while. I mean, Luke's 20 years old. He's too young. But they talk for a while, and their personalities click almost immediately. And do you know that they never even checked to see if he could cook? When Angie shows up and they finally get to meet her sight unseen, they said, yeah, I think you're the one. And that relationship has gone on for 11 years. It is one of the most beautiful friendships that you can imagine. They have become lifelong best friends, like a son and a daughter to Fred and Pam have been Angie and Luke. Luke was like a son. He went to all Fred's cancer appointments and has stood with them in a way that he had not even known friendship before. Well, it was during that season recently that Luke and Angie started coming here to this place, Open Door Fellowship.